Foundations of homeschooling. In my opinion, you need to optimize your physical and mental health to make the most of your skills. If you are not motivated or easily overwhelmed, how much use are you going to get out of knowing 4 languages or having a PhD? So that side is extremely important. It's really the foundations. So it's not too early to think about this for your toddler. I'm not an expert, and I think it's important to listen to the experts. I read a lot of books from reputable people to hear what they have to say. It is really important to not be blinded by survivor bias, which sounds like, oh, I went through being hit or doing no chores, anything like that, and I turned out all right, I ate junk, I turned out all right. I don't know, I never studied and now I make all this money, But maybe you are a statistical rarity, but there's always room for improvement, and we want to increase the odds. We want to increase the odds, that's the key word here, odds of success in our child. This is generally the consensus I got from the books I read. Like for physical health, you really need to make sure to get exercise that's appropriate for their age, such as dancing, tag, running in the playground, long walks, anything where they are moving that also involves fun. Also, make sure they are eating good food, of course, and getting their sleep. For mental health, which is not always obvious, there are a lot of things to consider for a child so they stay motivated, focused, mentally strong, and happy. What I learned from these books is that fun is actually good for the brain. So it is important to act extra silly and playful whenever you can. Being loving is important. Extra hugs, extra kindness whenever you can is so important. This is not permissible parenting, and it is not spoiling your kids. Giving them choices is also extremely important. That I didn't know. I look for any opportunity to give choices. I offer my son what books he wants to read from a pile, or what toy he wants to play for the day, or what music he wants to listen to. Like we listen to French music, of course, but he can choose which French artists. We have like 5 or 6 that he chooses from. So I try not to impose as much as possible. I want him to feel like he has a command of his situation. Correctly resolve upsetting situations using empathy. I was raised with dismissing emotions such as don't cry, get over it, don't be sad. And the worst, whenever I voiced what was upsetting to me, I always got a denial, which sounds like, oh, that's not true. That's not what happened. So apparently that is super wrong. You always have to validate feelings. And there is a way to do this that this book fully explains. It's called The Whole Brain Child. 12 Revolutionary Strategies to Nurture Your Child's Developing Mind by Daniel J. Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson. I highly recommend this book. It was so helpful. They tell you like everything you need to know to talk to your child in a mentally healthy way in case like you didn't get that treatment as a kid. So I had to kind of like learn how to do this. And the cheat sheet at the back is so helpful for busy parents who don't have time to read books. I'm just summarizing what I learned, and I highly recommend these other books for further learning about mental health and setting your kids up mentally for success, like Brain Rules for Baby, How to Raise a Smart and Happy Child from 0 to 5 by John Medina, The Self-Driven Child, The Science and Sense of Giving Your Kids More Control Over Their Lives by Ned Johnson and William Strickstrod, The Montessori Toddler, A Parent's Guide to Raising a Curious and Responsible Human Being by Simone Davies. Learning acquisition is a big topic. There are many books about this subject alone. I recommend reading some of them. Teachers have at least 1 degree and spent 4 years studying the topic of learning and teaching, so I think as homeschooling parents, we should at least try reading 1 book about best learning practices. The one that I read is called Accelerated Learning Unlocked, 40+ Expert Techniques for Rapid Skill Acquisition and Memory Improvement, the step-by-step guide for beginners to quickly cut your study time for anything new in half by John R. Torrance. It's for adults actually, but I adapted some parts of it for a toddler. I mean, it's not harmful like to drink water before learning. Like that's one of their recommendations. And like they'll say you can focus on something for 25 minutes as an adult. So I guess I'm assuming for a toddler, it could be like 5 to 10 minutes. Are there any other books and tips you find helpful? Leave a comment in the description below. I am always open to hearing new ideas and I love book recommendations. So I hope all these recommendations and ideas will help you out. I hope it wasn't overwhelming. I'm so passionate about this topic, and to do this job, you really need to be passionate about it. And I'm only sharing ideas that were helpful for me. So if you have any ideas that were helpful for you, please share them in the comments below.